think the most important thing that I learned from being a judge or even a coach is that to sympathize and to understand other people. Because sometimes as a debater, we are focused too much of making argument. We're focused too much how to prove ourselves a lot, but sometimes we forget to listen to other people's opinion.
Hi everyone, welcome to this Potandem podcast. And today we invited a special speaker. They are part of the education core of the most prestigious BP tournaments in Indonesia, such as Argumentum Open 2021, Jovad 2020, and Founders Trophy 2019. They are also champion and fourth best speaker of Asian English Olympics 2019, coach or former coach of 15 plus institutions or individuals to prepare for prestigious tournaments in Indonesia, such as NUDC, NSDC, NOVED, and many more. We present to you Kak Daud Hernoud.
Hi everyone.
Hi Kak Daud, welcome to the Spontaneous podcast. It's truly an honor for us to have you here. So, as what we have mentioned before, you're like one of the most respectable debater, coach, and educator as well. And I believe that everyone has their own unique experiences, especially regarding their debating journey. And we wanted to know more about the beginning of your debating journey, your experiences, and whatnot. So, how did your debating journey exactly begin?
Okay. Before that, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for this Puntandum for the opportunity that's given to me. I think it's really great initiative. So yeah. Before that, I think it's going to be kind of sharing session. So probably everything I'm going to talk about is my personal experience. Hopefully, it could like help a lot of debater out there. So if you're asking me about my beginning of the journey in debating community, I think that it was start like 8 years ago, I guess. I started debate when I was still on my senior high school. At that time, I joined NSDC, for example. It was NSDC 2015, for example. My teacher was the one that like asked me to join debate competition. I'd never understand about debate at all. It was just like the teachers come up to my class and say that who can speak English. And I was suddenly like, okay, I can speak English. So I have no idea about debate. So I just went there, uh, went to the club, joined the club only with the confidence that I can speak English. But then after years of debating, then I understand debate is not about English at all. It's more than that. So yeah, it was kind of trap for me at the very beginning. It was because I did not have an idea about how debate supposed to be like. But yeah, I'm here. So yeah, that's the beginning of my journey.
Oh my God, that is so cool ya Kak. You also mentioned tadi that your debating journey starts in your senior high school years and you started completely not expecting to join a debate club. How did exactly you get here, Kak? Like into this position now that you're coaching, you're judging, and also Acoring. Like, oh my God, that is so cool.
I
Can you
think it
tell?
was a very long journey and it was not easy and it was start really bad for me actually. Because I think at the very beginning that I did not have anyone that I can look up to. I was struggle a lot. I did not make it in a lot of competition. I did not broke in a lot of competitions. It was kind of devastated, and it was a long journey for me. Especially when in its university debate, university debate is way more competitive than the school debate. So it was kind of hard for me to even broke a competition. It took me like 2 years to finally broke my first competition. It was kind of shameful at that time, but yeah, I think what brings me here it's the determinations that I have. I know it sounds very cliche, but I think it's all about my determination to want to be a better debater. Because if I look back at that time, there are multiple times when I talk to myself about why you do not stop. Like it means nothing to you. You're not successful. You keep failing and failing, and you just waste your time and a lot of negative thought came to me and that was real, especially when you guys were in my positions. But then when I look back and I talk to myself again, what if at that time I do really end my journey, and what if at that time I do really do not want to quit, continue debate and want to quit debate? Probably if I did that, I will not be the person that I am right now speaking in front of all of you. So yeah, those are the journey how I can get here with a lot of struggles, with a lot of failure, with a lot of cluelessness. Yeah,
But all that hard works are definitely giving you a special experience, ya Kak. And then we're kind of moving back. You finally deciding to try to joining to become judges. Like you try to try different roles, many different roles in debating. And is there any story you would like to share with us? Probably, is there any tough process behind deciding to try different roles in debating?
I think the very first reason why I tried different role, it was when I very first time tried to judge in debate competitions. It was because again I feel like I was a failure as a debater. It is honest. So at that time, I did not get selected to represent my uni for NUDC as a debater because I was not good enough. But I was selected as N1 adjudicator. So that was the very first time I tried to judge competitions, and my thought process would be like, I think that I already quote unquote failed as a debater, and now this is my time to prove that I am worth of something, that I still have something to prove to people that I am good. So yeah, that was the moment I tried a lot to judge. At that time, I had no proper coach. So what I did was like I watched debate video. I tried to simulate as if that debate video was a real debate. I tried to make OA out of it. And yeah, finally I broke in NUDC 2018 as a breaking judge. So that's my first thought while trying to judge at the very beginning. And about coaching on itself, the reason why I joined my as a coach is not something that I plan as well. It's also something that unplanned because at the very first time there was an institution that asked me to coach them. That was my very first coaching gig. I was so unsure because I'm having a lot of insecurity at the time. I do not know whether or not I'm good enough to handling someone else, for example, or to teach someone else. It was something that was unplanned. But then I asked them what is their reason why they want to choose me. So all this time when everyone asked me to coach them, that will be my first question to them. Why me? Because I want to understand what is their expectation, what they want to have, what they want to learn, what they want from me, and why me. By that, I can understand how to approach this person, how to approach this institution, what I have, what I could offer, and what I cannot offer. So I think that that is the first time I asked them, and they told me a lot of reason why they want me as their coach, and that was kind of heartwarming because I feel like, oh my god, someone's look up to me, for example. And yeah, that was the first time I started to coach, and I continue it because I kind of like it until today.
And talking about coaching, is there any specific struggle that you face recently when you started coaching? Struggle that you face as a coach or a judge, but you never experienced it before as a debater?
I think the most important thing that I learned from being a judge or even a coach is that to sympathize and to understand other people. Because sometimes as a debater, we are focused too much of making argument. We're focused too much how to prove ourselves a lot, but sometimes we forget to listen to other people's opinion. And that's I think it's some of the bad traits that comes from that. But I think that when I start coaching, I start to relate to a lot of people. I start to listen to their struggles, what they want to improve or whatever. It starts to give me a sense of sympathy, and it gave me an awareness about people experience and struggles. And I think that that is a new thing that I learned because sometimes it's not only about winning or losing. Because when we are on the shoes of debater, what we really care is only about winning. But when we are in the other shoes and look at the debater, then we understand it's never been about the title, the trophy. It's about the effort that you put. It's all about all of the training. It's all about all of the hard work that you put into it, and that's what's matter. So yeah, that's a new perspective I see from judging and coaching. Put myself in other people's shoes and finding new perspective.
Wow, I personally admire your journey on how it all didn't start that good, but with your determination of wanting to be good, all the process, and you finally excel in the debating community. That's just very admirable, in my opinion. So now that you have experienced all position, debating, judging, coaching, and even acoring, which role do you like the most and why?
I think it's very tough question because I think I'm still enjoying like juggling all of those things at once. Like I'm still jumping into any debate tournament and still judge. I still do coaching. I kind of like all of them. But if you ask me to choose, I would choose coaching. The reason why I like coaching is that I able to meet a lot of new people. That first. Second of all, like what I said, it allows me to connect to other people. It just feels different. We and as a debater, you talk a lot about how you want to change the world. You want to create a policy to help minority, to help the most vulnerable actor. But when you're a coach, you can make that happen. You can really touch people's life. You can really change people's life. You see people grow from nothing to something, for example. I think those are the most great part about being a coach. It's never been a trophy, but it's all about how you can make these students like debate. Because debate is a tiring activity. You need to do research, you need to train every day. If you do not like that, you will be stressful. You will be feel like you're oppressed by your coach, for example, because a lot of pressure or whatever. But when you're able to make them they like debate, they will do debate not because they want to achieve a lot of things, but because they can get something out of it. And I think that I've coached a lot of people with a lot of generations, and I see the growth. It just makes me happy and fulfilled at one point.
Okay, so now we're talking about coaching as the one that you enjoy the most right now. I'm going to ask you from your perspective, like, can somebody be a judge or be a coach, or maybe specifically judging, coaching, and acoring, but is not a debater? Maybe they're not an active debater, or maybe with minimum experience in debating. Can someone do that?
Mm, can you? I think the answer is yes, you can. But can it be easy? I don't think so because I think that judging, debating, and acoring or coaching are interconnected to each other. But it's all depends on what you want to have and what you want to pursue. Or for example, me, my first achievement in university debate was not achievement of being a debater, but my achievement was being the judge. For example, when I broke as a judge in NUDC 2018, I learned a lot of things. I learned about see a debate from third party perspective. So I know when I judge someone, I criticize them, of course, right? I ask them like, you did not prove this, you did not prove this, your argument that does not fly for several reasons, A, B, C, D, E. It pushed me to also have ability to criticize myself. For example, when I case build, for example, I ask myself, if I were a judge, would I like this argument? Or if I were a judge, would this argument is enough for me, for example? So it allows me to push myself even more. But yeah, just because I enjoy judging doesn't mean I completely abandon debating, for example. Same goes as coaching, for example. When I coach someone, I have more incentive to know more, for example, like uh, when I want to mentoring my children or give a lot of matter to my children about IR econs, for example, I also have more incentive to do more research and do a bigger research because the research that I do as a coach supposedly be way more complex and way more complete than the research that I do as a debater, for example. And then the information that I got from research and teaching my students, also I can use that when I join a debate competition. So it's literally interconnected one and each other. So yes, probably you can, but if you want to make it easier, funnier, just juggling both of that, because I think that can help you in any other way, one way or another. I mean, yeah.
All right, thank you, Kak. So now we learned that the role that you enjoy the most right now is coaching. And if you want to coach somebody, but you're not an active debater, that will be great. You can do it, but it will be a lot easier if you just join and be an active debater. Yeah. So moving on, I'm going to ask you about this. This is my favorite part of question actually. You started your debating journey probably like 8 years ago. How do you know when you should start diving into the judging, coaching, and acoring? Is it how do you know that is it the right time for you to finally diving into that role?
I think there is no like rigid answer to these questions. I think everyone knows themselves better. But I think the easiest way for us to identify whether or not we should jump to other field is that, do you feel fulfilled by doing that? Like, are you feel like, okay, I already achieved a lot as a debater, for example, or I already achieved a lot as judging, and I think it's already good enough for me. I want to try something new. At least that was my push, for example. The reason why I want to try something new and try coaching, or beside being a debater, for example. How you can really know it is that you need to try it first. I mean, that if you do not try it, you will never know the experience. You will never understand the struggles. You will never understand whether or not you're going to like that. So you should start it first, but of course, in the different level, or with the smaller scoop, for example. I mean, if you want to try to judge, you should apply for in-depth or N1 adjudicator, for example. Try to get your accreditations, for example. Or if you want to start to coach someone, probably you can start by coach your junior, for an example. That's the easiest way for you to find out whether or not you really like an activity, so you can decide whether or not you should jump to that. I think that's it.
All right, Kat, thank you. So, in terms of you should just try it. Before we try it, of course, we have to like have the basic, like, is there any specific achievement or experience that we should have, or like how long your debating experience have to be before you start jumping into that role? Is there?
Uh,
Um,
I think the way for you to know that you're qualified is not a specific achievement, but it's all about the feedback that you get. That is the reason why whenever I judge, the very first time I judge, I always ask feedback for everyone that judge me, for example, whether or not they like it, whether or not they're satisfied with that. Same when I'm coaching someone. Even until today, I still ask feedback for my students. Sometimes I give like evaluation form. I give it to them, and they can tell me whatever they need. For example, what was lack when I coach them, what they learn, and what they want to learn more. For example, it's all about keep evaluating yourself, and that's the moment you can know whether or not you're qualified by getting feedback and other people' perspective about you.
Understood. Honestly, your answers are really intriguing, especially regarding the timing, which is the feeling of fulfillment and just the courage to try at the first place, and also your spirit to always evaluate and learn more. So now, given that you are experienced in all three roles, we want several tips and also recommendations regarding them. So, what are the things you wish you knew before diving into those different roles?
I wish I knew that when I dive through those roles before that, is that you cannot make everyone happy, and you can get everything that you want always. What I mean is that when you're judging, you should be prepared. Not everyone will accept your call, because probably the debater are already tired. For example, they don't want to listen to your verdict or whatever. Sometimes those things happen, not always happen, but sometimes those incidents happen. then yeah, you need to learn how to evaluate yourself from that incident, but also know that your worth is not lesser, getting lesser just because of that. The same goes with achievement. I think that when I know that, I will not beat myself too hard and I will not be too harsh on myself. I think that it would help me to enjoy this experience even more when I know that it was never been about achievement, but it's all about the entire journey and experience.
Cool, cool. So, last question. What would you recommend debaters to do first before exploring those different roles?
Okay, individual training is what I would recommend a lot. Because when before we jump to the real world and try all of that, I think that we need to have an individual training, and that's what I always do. Like what I told you before, I judge a tournament or really go to a real tournament. I simulate the debate using video. I train myself. I know that probably will not that sufficient because I do not have like trainer, but at least that is the least I can do to prepare myself. For example, so it's all about trying it first in the smaller scope before you jump to the bigger scope.
Well, thank you so much, Daud, for all of your intriguing answers. And we are already at the end of the podcast. But before closing this podcast, Daud, is there anything that you would like to add or inform?
The only thing that I would tell everyone is that debate supposed to be fun. That's it.
Thank you so much, Daud, for coming. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys also for listening. If you want to hear more content like this, follow our social media accounts for updates and check out our website for debating related contents. And don't forget to comment down below for topics or debaters you would like to hear more.
All right. Thank you everyone for having me.